So the other day, one of my staff asked me a question. They asked, aren't you scared that you've just given out a really good recipe and the restaurant down the road is going to copy it and sell it? And I laughed because I know there is no other restaurant that can do it this way. Because in restaurants or in business, the aim is to make money. And there's no money in doing it one-to-one. Morning guys, it is Monday morning here in Brisbane. I'm gonna come back to this in a minute. Hi.
Hi. I don't want to be in the video, but can you just there's a video that you can just
blur the face.
Like I'm in face. You can put like.
I'm on 1,000.
Oh, congratulations! I didn't know that.
Thank you.
How's your feeling after one case?
1,000.
1,000.
Feels good.
Feels good. Did you get something special? Make it. Yay!
Just to really change things up on this channel and really get that content out to you guys, I just want to answer 2 questions in this video, which is something a lot of people have asked, and that is about the one-to-one bone broth that you need for my pho recipe. And the second question I wanted to answer is the availability of Hat Nem. I actually had an email come through last night about the one-to-one bone broth, and I'm going to start reading people's comments on this channel. So I had a lady email me last night, Eldon. She says, "Hello Leighton, I've been watching your pho tutorials and I love your forward approach to cooking pho. However, there's one thing that I'm missing or is not quite clear. When you make your bone broth, are you roasting the bones and then simmering in water only for 24 hours? Or are you adding spices, aromatics at this stage?" And this is the exact same question that Justin, who's is actually one of the first people to directly email me. I completely forgot I gave out my email in one of my previous videos, and we've been emailing each other. I'm almost like tech support for pho. And he asked the exact same question as well. And that is, when I make this 24-hour bone broth, is it just water and bones? And the simple answer is yes. All right, so this is today's batch of 24-hour bone broth. It is just water and bones. That's it. And even though I say it is 24 hours, this has actually been here for about 36 hours, which reminds me of a comment someone posted where they asked, is there any advantage over 24 hours versus 36 or 48? And the short answer is I don't really know. I might do a test. I think they call it a TDS, total dissolved solid test, to see if there's any difference or advantage if you simmer it for longer. But anyway, this is what it looks like. I've got to scoop this out. This is only 80 kilos though. Usually I do a 120 kilo run, but for the last few weeks we've just been lowering it a little bit down to 80, and this is what it looks like. And the reason why you only put water and bones is this bone broth, this foundation, you can then use for any other beef dish that you have. For example, there's another dish on my menu called Bò Kho, or Vietnamese stewed beef. I use this broth in that dish as well. So you can essentially use it for any beef dish that you have. Just add it in and it'll really take it up another level. And then I'm going to do a 1 to 2. where I cut it down with about 50% water. So 1 to 1, 1 to 2. And you've basically lost 50% of your flavor by just doing that. I thought I'd take it next door because the guys need to prep for Monday's lunch service. So continuing on from this question, the reason I am not afraid that some other restaurant is going to steal my recipe and use it to make money, because there is no money in doing it 1 to 1. Doing it this way, it's almost like being too honest, because the aim of any food business, whether it's a restaurant or a cafe like this one, is to make profits off food. And in order to do that, you're trying to keep your food costs down as much as possible. And if you're selling pho, you're trying to use the least amount of beef bones while still maintaining that taste of a pho. And something funny happens when you start cutting it down, when you start cutting your bone broth down with water, because there's a certain point where you go over and that taste is lost. It's too weak. And I've seen this so many times on my pho reviews where I taste a broth, I can tell it's a pho. It's got all the characteristics, it's got the spices, you can taste the aromatics, but it's hollow because 1, they have not used enough bones, or 2, they've just diluted the broth down too much. So back to my original point, I'm going to use the analogy of a Netflix series that I've been watching, and also Scarface happens to be one of my favorite movies.
500. Who do you think we are, baggage handlers?
I'm not on drugs. I don't do drugs, but I'm going to have to use this analogy of where, say, this is pure bone broth, 1 to 1. That is like the Colombians selling pure cocaine to, say, a dealer in Miami.
Sell for 13.5 a key.
13.5? What are you, nuts? 13.5? We still gotta take that shit to Florida, man.
Who then goes on to cut the product down several times and adds fillers, etc., before selling it onto the streets. And even then, the price of the product cut down is already expensive.
Way to make money dealing drugs is simple. Build a loyal customer base by selling uncut product, then boost profits by diluting it over time. Coke on the streets today has as little as 15% actual cocaine in the powder.
An ounce will become 2 ounces. 2 ounces will become 4 ounces. Before you know it, I'm selling a whole bunch of garbage, but everybody's already addicted to my stuff.
So can you imagine if the dealer in Miami selling it at the club was selling pure cocaine 1 to 1? I mean, that's one way to go out of business very, very fast. And that is the reason why I'm not afraid that some other restaurant down the road or in another is going to watch my videos and copy my recipe, because I know they cannot do it. The next thing I wanted to address was Hat Nem, which I didn't realize is not available in the States. A lot of people have commented that they have struggled to find this, and I basically sent a lot of people on this kind of treasure hunt to even track down a packet of these. And over in Australia, this is, it's everywhere, it's abundant. And as soon as I heard you cannot get this over there, that kind of puts a big spanners in the works, because the whole recipe hangs on this, or adding in this seasoning. And I thought that's just great, because I've got to redo this whole video again and adjust the seasoning to suit what is available over there in the States. And I understand over there, some people have showed me some of the seasoning that you can get over there it's a lot different to what you can get here. But my prayers were answered because Ken, username Ken, he commented that he found this at an Asian grocery store in, I think, Spokane, WA. And as soon as I read that comment, I thought, WA? In Australia, WA stands for Western Australia, which is the state on the west coast. And I thought, well, that doesn't help the people over in the States. But as it turns out, WA is a state in, I really got to up my geography, Washington State. It is available, thank God. And I told Ken, you better let him know that there's gonna be a ton of interest in this product. I'm gonna be guessing a lot of Vietnamese grocery stores across the States are gonna have random people turn up and ask for Hat Nem, and they're just gonna be scratching their heads thinking, what the hell is going on? How do they even know about this? But just tell them Leighton sent you. And I will be developing my own line of pho seasonings, which I'll be selling on this channel. It's going to contain more than just Hat Nem, sugar, and salt crushed and branded into a packet. It's going to contain a couple of party tricks in it that will really make your pho pop. And that's something I'm going to be working over Christmas to develop, which you guys can purchase on this channel. On that note, I better get back over there. I've got to scoop out all these bones. What I might do, I'm going to put both of these in the blast chiller and just show you the difference. Alright guys, I just want to quickly go through this 1-to-1 ratio, which a lot of people are having confusion about. I'm getting people ask me how much bones do I use, but it's very simple. Here in this example, I use 80 kilos of beef bones, which means 1-to-1 I need to produce 80 liters. But here you'll notice at the end of 24 hours, it has reduced down to 60 liters, which means I need to add in another 20 liters to get it back up to 80, giving me 1-to-1. Just a little tip, if you're doing this over a 24-hour period, you want to lose as little of the broth as possible. Say for example here at the end of 24 hours, I'm down to 20, and at the end of 24 hours, I'm down to say 20 liters. And I've got to add in another 60 liters of water. I've basically lost all that flavor that we've worked hard for. So my advice, just simmer it very gently so that you lose as little as possible. Excuse the audio. So we'll add 20 liters to get it back up to 80. Alright, so 1-to-1 looks like, are we recording? Yes we are. This is the ultimate test to see if you've done your bone broth correctly. It should stand up on its own. And I'm going to do the same with a 1-to-2. Yeah, so this one cannot stand up, but it's still very gelatinous. I think this next comment's gonna get me in a bit of trouble, but that's alright. I'm not that famous yet. And another reason why I am not worried that some other restaurant is going to steal my recipe and use a ridiculous amount of beef bones is because, one, it is not profitable. You don't make money on 1-to-1 pho selling it to customers unless you're charging like $100. And secondly, it comes down to the fact that people are weak. And I've seen a lot of the restaurants out there. I've been into a lot of kitchens, and I know the type of people who work there, and it sounds bad, but a lot of them are old timers. They're getting old and weak. A lot of them have arthritis in the wrists, and they gotta wear patches, because if you imagine doing stir fries for 20 years, the amount of strain that it puts on your wrists. And a lot of them they have serious health issues and bad backs, and you can imagine the last thing they want to be doing is lifting a stupid amount of beef bones into the bin. Not only that, but scooping it out of a stock pot, which is it really strains your back. So that is why I'm not worried whatsoever that someone else is going to copy my recipe and sell it in competition with me, because I know they physically can't do it. But at my store, it's been a little bit different, and since I made that video about Ling and the big arm workout from lifting heavy bones, I've been able to reframe the way the young guys at the store see things, from work to a workout. And every time we do a bone run, there's no shortage of guys to volunteering to do some heavy lifting, because they want those big arms.
Thay phiên anh Linh, tại vì anh Linh nói thà cái này có một bàn tay rất là to, nên là mình phải tập. Đo đi anh. Thay phiên anh Linh. Đấy.
Bây giờ là 30.
Speaking of young motivated staff who want to get strong, the biggest tip we can give you, or I can give fellow restaurant owners out there, is just to split the load up. Makes it much easier. Or you can have two people. Yep. That's it, easy.